Every time that he gets up in the parliament to speak on questions, he not only gets applause from the opposition parties, but many members of parliament even talk about his late father. And the common thing between Mohan Naidu and his father was that both have been union ministers under the age of 40. And today Mohan Naidu joins us for an exclusive chat. Mohan, even if we want to speak about the 100 days development, but what has come to the fore is a very, very disturbing incident that we've seen pan out in Andhra Pradesh. Tirupati Devasthanam board, which is said to be very, very important and very, very spiritual as far as the country is concerned. The controversy around the adulteration of the laddus, animal fat being used. What do you have to really say, even though the YSR Congress is saying that they are saying that this is political vendetta of the
No, first of all, I don't think they have any right to speak in this issue. It is outrageous and it is equally shocking for a temple of such great importance. Tirupati is not just a mere temple just like any other temple. It is the highest visited Hindu temple in the whole world, with people up to 2 and 3 lakhs also visiting per day, and a temple which has such strong significance and which is always a pride for people of Andhra also, that there are people coming from Hindus coming from across the country and across the world. And I have to also be honest and say that there are people of multiple faiths also coming, and they have so much vishwas on Lord Balaji that they come. And one of the important factors when they come and visit Balaji is that they take away from them. One is the blessings of Lord Balaji, and the takeaway from the temple is the laddu itself. And to manipulate that whole thing and to adulterate that laddu itself, I don't think anyone in their dreams also would imagine to do it. But that has become a reality today, and it is very, very shocking, and I think it has to be probed further, and the people who have succumbed to this have to face the law.
It's not just the prasad which is given to you and me, the prasad which is even offered to the Lord Balaji itself is adulterated. Animal fat being used, Ramon, this is basically insulting the Hindu sentiment on the whole.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. And they have to answer, if they are speaking, they have to answer why were they doing this to insult the Hindu faith. And this is something which has to be thoroughly probed, like I said. And also, I think it is straightforward now pointing out, because it is this thing, the samples have been studied by NDDB itself. It is not someone who is merely putting some political vendetta or putting some wild allegations on this. So there is a thorough report, lab survey, which was already done. So it is, the cat is out of the bag right now, and definitely they have to answer on why they were I feel because this has been happening in the last 5 years of YCP rule also. If you can
how did you come up with the sampling? Why did your government come up with the sampling?
Exactly. In the last 5 years, while the YSR government was in power in the state, there were so many, numerous number of complaints saying that the quality of the laddu and especially the taste of the laddu has changed, and for the bad. And the quality, we have always taken pride in the quality of the laddu also, no matter where you take it. You can take it across the continent also, but the freshness of the laddu is always there, which Tirupati provides. But once the government changed, and once the Jagan Mohan Reddy took the seat of CM in the state, the quality of the laddu has deteriorated. And there were numerous complaints, and we were complaining also at that time. We were complaining on the deteriorating quality of the laddu, but nothing, no action was taken, because the government at that time, they were giving the laddu tenders and everything, especially the ghee, to the people who they wanted to give, without any sampling, without any survey on the ghee and everything. So that is why we had a doubt on the quality. Once we came, our government in the state took charge on June 12th, and on June 16th itself, we conducted a survey, and this was the report that came out, and we immediately blacklisted them. We immediately took them out of the ghee contract, and then we have brought in some important people on board. We selected a committee where all the experts have come in, and based on the experts, we have given a new tender.
And we hope that there will be a thorough inquiry as far as that is concerned, because it involves faith of crores and crores of people, yes, like you really mentioned. Coming back to the topic of discussion today, Ramon, you've taken over as the Civil Aviation Minister in the Modi 3.0 government. The Prime Minister already had given everybody a task of the first 100 days as well. What has been the biggest highlight for your ministry over the last 100 days?
I think not just one. We have made many progresses in the last 100 days. which was, and our whole idea was also to lay a strong foundation for civil aviation and grow on the success the civil aviation department has achieved in the last 10 years, especially on the direction of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. One important thing is, you already know that the number of airports have increased from 74 to 157 in last 10 years. And we want to keep the momentum going on. And in the 100 days itself, we have approved the construction of new terminal buildings in 5 important airports. Let it be Agra, Varanasi, Beta, Bagdogra, and Patna. So we have done some 5 airports, and we are spending to the tune of 7,500 crores so that we increase the terminal capacity in these airports. And we have also concentrated on improving the MRO facilities in the country. And the way civil aviation, how the MROs are functioning in the country right now, most of the activity is being done by other countries. Whenever a plane wants to get maintained or overhaul or repair has to be done, so much of it, the activity is being done in other countries, and we are losing out on a big opportunity. So our government has taken some good decisions that is going to facilitate for the growth of MRO. And one important one is that the integrated GST for aircraft components has been brought down from 18% to 5%. There were multiple components with multiple GSTs, and that created a lot of confusion within the MRO industry. Now the government has decided that it's going to be slabbed at 5%, which is going to boost the MRO industry from $2 billion today. Within 7 years, we want to see it in a $4 billion industry. And also in the budget, some important decisions were taken for MROs, where the import of goods for MROs will be given the time limit of not just 6 months, but expanded up to 1 year. And then the warranty also for MRO activities that are taking place in the country is going to be extended from 3 years to 5 years. So MROs we wanted to expand on a big way. And then technological interventions. You have seen Digi Yatra also being liked by the passengers. So we used to have it in 15 airports. We have expanded to 9 more airports and added more passenger capacity to our Digi Yatra airports. And Asia Pacific Conference. It's a very important conference at a global level. And India had the opportunity to host it. It was the second one after 5 years we had to host it because of COVID. There was a long delay. But we have done excellent job in hosting the conference, and now we are stepping into having good relations with Asia Pacific regions in the whole concept of having a safe, secure and convenient air travel for all the passengers across globally.
Since you speak about this conference that happened recently, the Prime Minister has every time highlighted that Hawai Chappal se Hawai Jahaz tak, allowing the common man to get to use the airways as a mode of transport effectively as well. Now, as far as India is concerned, do you think with the present day government there's scope for more people to get into this space? There'll be more people who can actually get into the aviation space as well. And secondly, one concern that you often hear from the public is the soaring airfares. Do you have a mechanism to in fact regulate it? Because that's something which the common man has always been very worried about.
And it has been flagged in the parliament also by many MPs, especially with certain cases when there are festivals happening or where there are important occasions happening. They see a huge surge in airfares. So from our side, we have a traffic monitoring unit under DGCA which actively monitors the airfares that are going, and are they airlines misusing or taking advantage of any situation. This is thoroughly monitored. And the second thing that I want to mention is I've said it in the House also, that we are going to create a separate wing which is going to thoroughly, much more deeper way, is going to analyze when someone feels that the airfare is much more than the usual rate, then they can flag it off to us, and we are going to thoroughly inquire into it. As of now, we don't have any rule where the government can say you cap your fares at this time. So we are keeping it open. The market is open and dynamically driven, so that there is an active competition between the airlines also, so that the overall benefit comes to the passenger. So that is how it is happening across the world. All the countries are having this dynamic fare pricing, and that is the system we are following. But in case if anyone feels that a certain route or a certain fare is much higher than what it has to be, then definitely we want to speak to the airlines and we want to take it in a proactive manner and ensure that the passenger gets it at a very affordable rate. And the second thing, like you said, it's coinciding with the fact that more people need to come in, and that is what Honorable Prime Minister also envisions the Civil Aviation Ministry to be. We want more airlines to come in. We have 1200 more aircraft orders also for the country. As and when these aircrafts keep coming in, adding to our fleet, the routes which are already there, the demanded routes, most demanded routes, or the prices where you feel that maybe they are a little bit higher, the market is going to push these airlines to function in those routes, and the prices are automatically going to come down. So I can assure that in the coming days, as we increase the number of planes in the country, then definitely demand and supply. Simple theory, demand and supply. As we increase the supply of the planes, and it is going to cater for the demand, and overall benefit is going to trickle down to the passenger, and he's going to be having a affordable travel.
Ram, that one question that many people want to know is that are we going to start our flight services with countries like China?
So this is a slightly sensitive issue, not just with China, but whenever a bilaterals comes into place, this has to be discussed with the country the country we are talking about. Let it be China or some other country where we need new routes and all that. So this is not just the part of Civil Aviation Ministry, but also how MEA sees this, how the whole country sees this global geopolitical relations. So we have to take that into account. And ultimately, I would like to say that when it comes to bilaterals, some of the base points that we want to keep in mind is that we want to encourage India to be a aviation hub. Now we can't ensure that there are bilaterals happening when the country is getting the aviation hub, the dream of having our own hub, let it be Delhi or Bombay or any other city, we can't let it die out. We have to prosper in creating our own hub, and likewise we also have to encourage our Indian airlines also. Whoever are registered within our country, we have to give them a hand so that they also improve. They are doing operations in the country. So these are some of the ideas that we have in mind. Within that, we are open. We are open to all the things, given the fact that even the MEA and the whole geopolitical relations also come in line with it.
Yes, now that you are a part of a coalition government, the first ever in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's career, let me ask you about a couple of important developments. One country, one election was cleared by the cabinet yesterday. I mean, I do understand that for the longest, the stand of the TDP has been that they've been, in support of this. Yes. How do you view this in the perspective? Because multiple questions remain unanswered as to when it is going to be cleared, when it will come as a bill, what will happen, how will you process it, how will...
Yes, no, the technicalities can be discussed, but the whole idea of the country having one nation, one election, I think has to be supported by each and everyone. For a country like India and the way it is progressing, it needs to be facilitated by all the reforms also. And one of the important reforms we are going to see tomorrow is the one nation, one election. Because on the flip side, when there are too many elections happening at too many times in the country, at too many places also, there seems to be a policy paralysis at certain places. Now, simple examples I can give you at the moment are the law and order problem. When there is an election happening, the law and order kind of moves into the election phase, and everyone is concentrated on having a free and fair and smooth elections. And the regular law and order takes a beating there. And if you have more and more elections, then the kind of shifting that happens from the law and order from regular one to election process kind of creates a difficult situation for the common man also. And the second thing is the kind of code that comes into place, and you are not able to inaugurate anything, start anything. There are so many expectations on the government today, let it be the state or the center, and when you close the whole functioning for 3 to 4 months because of the election code, then it again creates a paralysis in the kind of governance that you want to give. And even in today's world, every day is important, every hour is important, and when you lose out that precious time in decision making, I think that kind of it affects the whole growth process of the whole country itself. India is moving forward in different directions. It was not always that India had elections at multiple times. You take the first 20 years of the country after independence, elections were happening at simultaneously at the same time only. At 5-year intervals, all the elections were happening. Once things started to move a little bit here and there, then you had every state having their own elections. And if you ask Andhra, from 99 we are having same time we were having elections, MLA and MP. So it's not something which is alien or completely new or happening in a very different. There are places where it is happening, And it is only seen at the whole country level. If you see the kind of cost advantage, the kind of advantages that this one nation, one election brings, I think everyone should kind of support it. And we are going to obviously ensure that there is more awareness and education built around this idea of one nation, one election. And definitely when it comes to the implementation, we are going to follow the constitution. And however the constitution provides us with the law to enact that thing, we are going to walk in that line.
Opposition parties have been demanding a caste census. Now, several parties within the NDA fold have also demanded a caste census. But the Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister came up with a very interesting thing. He said it's time for skill census. What does it make sense to you to
absolutely absolutely being a youngster, I think this is a very important concept, innovative concept. And I was very happy to hear it from the visionary leader of Chandrababu Naidu himself. He has brought in many concepts, many reforms which have shaped the whole country today. Let it be telecom reforms, highway reforms, and back in the day he was leading the IT reforms also in the country. And today he feels the need of the country is to do a skill census, where we tap in the skills of each and every individual, and we see that where does the country stand today in terms of the skill capacity. And we are talking about skill development for a long time. And how do we ensure that we do the necessary skilling? There are a lot of gaps still in the industry which are quite visible. And how do you fill them? And how do you ensure that the skilling is done at a very inclusive level? Everyone is getting involved. I think when you want to answer a lot of the questions in terms of skilling, and I feel that in terms of employability also, the most important factor that comes after getting educated is the skilling part. And likewise, we are spending a lot of money, but to make it a much more effective process, not just in the state of Andhra Pradesh, but across the country. And believe me when I say so, that the skill census is going to be the topmost activity, topmost thing that is required in the country tomorrow. And the government of Andhra Pradesh under the leadership of Chandrababu Naidu is kind of leading this way. And I'm sure it is going to yield very good results for the country.
You're talking about the way forward as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned, obviously about the way Prime Minister Modi conducts himself. Then why does the opposition think that this is a weak government? Why does the opposition think that this is a government of Uturns?
No, they just feel that, see, they are being sore losers here today. They've lost the election, and they just feel that they still have some kind of opportunity here and there. But we were, see, all the partners today within the NDA, there are no new people that have come aboard. We have partnered within the NDA before the elections itself. And the people have collectively given their mandate that these are the NDA parties and these are the people we are going to vote, these are the governments we are forming, and according to that we got the mandate. We have got a clear mandate today within the NDA. So we have collectively went for the elections, collectively we got the mandate, and we are standing very, very strong. So the opposition kind of wants to create fissures among the NDA, and they're feeling that there are some loose cracks,
Ramon,
but whereas there are no loose cracks at all.
One thing that, on certain issues where you don't agree, for example, Waqf Board amendment bill, you wanted, it to be sent to a select committee. I mean, does the opposition, beg your pardon, does the NDA allies have a voice within the cabinet or within the, if you have to
definitely see, that is the beauty of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, the way he accepts all the opinions across the board. He's very accommodating, he's very listening to all the opinions that everyone has to offer. And let me come back to the point of the Waqf Board. When we spoke in the parliament, we have made it clear that we support any good reform that is going to come in the country, but just that there needs to be more awareness created on this thing, because there seems to be some fake propaganda or wrong narrative that is being spread in the public. So for that, it is going to be better if more deliberations are done and more people are brought into this, and we thoroughly explain it to them. We absolutely support the idea which the central government is doing right now, and but we felt that more people need to be brought into the discussions and let them be also known of the intention of the government. So in that capacity, we told that let it be sent to the select committee, and we are very happy with the way it is progressing.
We know Ramon the Union Minister, we know Ramon the MP, we know Ramon the leader, but you have a lot of responsibility because you have to rebuild your state in a way as well.
Yes.
Now, once I remember when you were made the Civil Aviation Minister, he said, doesn't matter what ministry I have, I'll be working to get work for my state from every ministry. Is that well on track? What does Andhra Pradesh expect its leader, its representative to do from here on?
And I'm very happy that you pointed it out, because initially when we were being given the ministries, the whole thought process was that it was important for us to be in the ministry, irrespective of which ministry we are taking, because we had to get that kind of help and support from the central government, considering after the division the kind of challenges Andhra Pradesh faced. That was one. The second was the total destruction that has happened during Y.S. Jagannath Reddy's rule in the state of Andhra Pradesh. So we had a lot of rebuilding to do, and the only way we could have done the rebuilding process was with the help of the central government, and that was the whole idea of coming back together with the NDA also. We thoroughly believed that Modi ji's support is very much required for rebuilding Andhra Pradesh. And if you ask the 100 days, I think we have been, the central government has been very kind, and they have given lot of support, more than what we expected. And if you look at budget announcements, the Amaravati, which is the capital which we needed to rebuild after losing out on Hyderabad, so there was a lot of money required. And the budget, the first budget itself has catered for 15,000 crores for the construction of the capital. Polavaram project, which is the most important project, almost like a lifeline for the state of Andhra Pradesh for irrigation and drinking water. And we wanted money for that. 12,000 crores have been sanctioned. The cabinet approval has also been given. And for Kopparthi and Orvakal nodes, industrial corridors, two important nodes, we have almost got those sanctioned, and we are in the process of commissioning them. And the backward districts funds also, that was also mentioned in the budget, that we are going to create a plan and we are going to facilitate for the development of the backward districts also. This was more than what we were required. And in fact, if you look at the railway zone, which was stuck for a long time, we are in the process of laying the foundation stone for that. If you consider the 100 days, what the YCP government was not able to do in the last 5 years, I think we have done 10 times more than that in the last 100 days itself. That gives the kind of confidence to the people also on how the whole NDA government, both at the center and the state, are collectively working towards the development of Andhra Pradesh.
I understand, Ram Mohan, that you have a very hectic schedule today, but I must ask you this question for our viewers who do not know. Ram Mohan is the youngest cabinet minister ever to have, held a cabinet portfolio in Narendra Modi's government over the last decade plus as well. How is it working with a leader like Prime Minister Narendra Modi? I do know from my sources that he looks forward to connecting with youth like you. He gives you a lot of encouragement, gives you a lot of work. How is it working with a man who is working 24/7 and who tells you in a council of ministers that you have met me for a 6-hour meeting? This is just the beginning.
I know. So it is always inspiring to be around him. And one thing is, when you speak to him or when you listen to him, or when he is guiding you through some of the things in the ministry, you never see that there is an age difference between you. It almost feels like you are talking with some person who is almost your age, or who is understanding the world today, who understands the generation today, who understands the challenges today. And that is the most impressive part of Narendra Modi ji. You are saying that I am the youngest, but if you given me a chance to answer that question, I would say that Narendra Modi ji is still the youngest in the cabinet today. The way he takes the decisions, the way he understands the challenges of India and the kind of solutions he brings in, it impresses any youth of this country. I think the way he works, it's very hard to tell. It almost feels like, does he work for 24 hours in a day? The kind of amount of work he puts in, the hard work he puts in, it's very encouraging. And I am very fortunate to be working under his cabinet, because the way he pushes people into getting things done, and he's very proactive, first of all, and he always wants ministers or MPs or any other leaders to come up with new ideas. He wants new solutions. He wants to always try to help the needy in a way, how the government should facilitate them. So these are all the concepts which impresses a youth also. When you're a young cabinet minister functioning at that level, you'd want some kind of guidance at the same frequency, and that is what you get from Narendra Modi ji. So it's all, I think it's all on the same level. We are all functioning on the same level. He kind of makes you feel important also in the cabinet. He asks everyone. That is why even after a meeting, 6-7 hours also, he's like handing over people responsibilities of doing different things. So I'm very fortunate to be working under his cabinet.
Well, all that I can tell you about my limited interaction with him, that he is a man who has great anecdotes to share, and he's somebody who has great communication skills to connect with a 10-year-old to a 100-year-old. And of course, I've seen that picture of your daughter interacting with him a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So of course, this is all that we have time right now for. We'll let Ram go for now, but with a promise that he'll come back and give us a more detailed interview whenever he next has time. Thank you for sharing your time with us, and thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you.